And hello everyone, and welcome back in to a continuation of Matt's Sports Talk. So in this video, we are actually in the middle of talking about teams on the left side of the bracket and the Naismith quadrant and the Kramer quadrant. These teams that I feel are going to be advancing into the Sweet 16 round. That's where we are. And so in the Sweet 16 round, we talked about I have Southern Oregon versus William Carey in the Sweet 16 round, and I have LSU Shreveport and Bethel out of Tennessee advancing in the Sweet 16. And then that's for the Kramer quadrant. The Naismith quadrant, I have Marion and Cumberland's advancing to play each other in the Sweet 16 round, as well as Dakota Wesleyan and Dordt matching up in the Sweet 16 round. So starting up here with the Naismith quadrant, which of those teams do I see advancing to the Elite Eight between Dordt and Langston? Again, this is a super tough matchup. Langston, super good team. Dordt's the defending national champions, but I have Dordt at beating Langston in the Sweet 16, and Dordt will be in the Elite Eight round. Now, who will Dordt play? Are they either going to play Marion or Cumberland's in the Elite Eight round? Again, this one's super tough. Now, remember, for Marion and Cumberland's, the last time these two teams met this year, Cumberland's beat them in triple overtime. It was only by 3 points. This time around, it could be that close. It might not be, but I have Cumberland's beating Marion in the Sweet 16 round and matching up with Dordt, the defending national champions. It will be Dordt versus Cumberland's in the Elite Eight round in Sioux City coming up on March 22nd. So who will join them in the Elite Eight round between Dordt and Cumberland's? Well, we look down here to the Kramer quadrant on this side of the bracket. So who will be joining them? So in the Sweet 16, I have Bethel versus Hastings. I think I did Bethel versus Hastings meeting, or Bethel. I think I did. I had Bethel. No, I think I had Bethel. I can't remember who I had, but since I seem to have forgotten who I had. Again, please go back to my previous video that I uploaded and leave me a comment down below just to remind me which one of those teams I had. I know I had for sure. I had Bethel out of Tennessee in the Sweet 16 round, and I believe I had them matching up against. I think I might have actually had them matching up with LSU Shreveport. At least I think I did. So if that is correct, and again, please leave me a comment down below if that is correct, because I can't remember one way or the other if it was. But Bethel versus LSU Shreveport advancing to the Elite Eight, I would have to give the nod to Bethel out of Tennessee. They're the 1 seed in their quadrant, and I have them. I think it might have been Bethel versus, who was that? No, it was William Carey versus Southern Oregon in the Sweet. Yeah, so it had to be Bethel and LSU Shreveport that I had in the Sweet 16. But I have Bethel out of Tennessee going to the Elite Eight. Now, between William Carey and Southern Oregon, which one of these two teams do I think will go to the Elite Eight? But now, both these teams super good. Now, Southern Oregon still undefeated. William Carey, they've still only lost 1 game all year this far into the tournament. This one is super tough, but I have to give the nod to Southern Oregon here. I have Southern Oregon matching up with Bethel out of Tennessee in the Elite Eight, and then the two teams joining them right above them will be Cumberland's out of Kentucky and Dordt out of Iowa. So I have Dordt, Cumberland's, Southern Oregon, and Bethel out of Tennessee in the Elite Eight round. Now, talking about the teams on the other side of the bracket, beginning in the Dewar quadrant, which teams on this side of the bracket do I see advancing to the Sweet 16 round? Campbellsville versus Lourdes. Lourdes from Ohio, they're on a hot streak right now. They won the WAC conference tournament, but Campbellsville is going to be too good for them. Campbellsville advances to the second round. Mobile and Williams Baptist. This one could go either way. Williams Baptist had a stellar tournament quarterfinal game. They struggled a little bit in the second round. I'm going to go with Williams Baptist beating Mobile out of Alabama, and Williams Baptist advancing to the second round and playing Campbellsville. Dakota State, Montana Tech. Again, this is really a no-brainer. Dakota State, I have them easily winning and advancing to the second round. The Governor State and Arizona Christian, this one could get a little more interesting, but I have Governor State playing Dakota State in the second round. Going down to Briarcliff and Spring Arbor. Spring Arbor out of the Crossroads League, 19-10 on the, or 19-11, I believe, on the year. But for Briarcliff, they're ranked in the top 10. They're a fantastic team. They've had a really good season, multiple scores. I have Briarcliff easily beating Spring Arbor in the first round. Lewis Clark State and Columbia. Now, Columbia out of Missouri, they've only lost 3 games all year. So now, if there was a potential upset to come out of this pod, I think it could be Columbia out of Missouri. But again, I'm really torn on this one because this could go either way. But if I had to give a potential sleeper team, I'm going to have to go with Columbia out of Missouri for the very slight upset over Lewis Clark State. I think Columbia is going to beat them. It's going to be under 3 points, and I have Columbia playing Briarcliff in the second round. Mid-America Nazarene, Kansas Wesleyan, 2 really good teams. Wesleyan is out of the KCAC. Mid-America Nazarene's out of the Heart of America Conference. I have Mid-America Nazarene winning here between Mid-America Christian and Northwestern out of Iowa. Again, this could go either way. Northwestern out of Iowa, they got a really good team, multiple scores, led by fifth-year senior Molly Scanney, who's averaging over 15 points per game. I have Northwestern with a slight upset here over Mid-America Christian out of Oklahoma. It will be Northwestern versus Mid-America Nazarene in the second round matchup. On the lower side of the bracket, IWU versus Philander Smith. Philander Smith, as a 4 seed, ran their conference tournament, but Indiana Wesleyan, they come in 29-2, and they got they've gotten Lily Frazier back from injury. She was back healthy in the Crossroads League tournament. No reason why Indiana Wesleyan could lose this game. In my opinion, Indiana Wesleyan easily at least a 15 to 20 point win over Philander Smith, and IWU advances to the second round. Grandview versus Olivet Nazarene. These are 2 really good teams. Olivet Nazarene out of the CCAC Athletic Conference. Grandview also out of the Heart of America. Both these teams are really, really talented. They both have a lot of size. I have to give the slight edge here to Olivet Nazarene with the narrow upset win over Grandview. I think it's going to be 2 points or less for Olivet Nazarene, as they will pick up the victory here and advance to play Indiana Wesleyan in the second round on Saturday. Georgetown versus Jamestown. 2 really good teams. Jamestown 19-9, Georgetown 24-8. Now, in my opinion, I think Georgetown is going to win this game by at least 10 points. Georgetown advances to the second round. Providence and College of Idaho. Providence is ranked inside the top 20. They've got a really talented roster. Providence is the winners here, defeating College of Idaho and moving on to the second round to play Georgetown. St. Francis and Indiana Tech. These are 2 teams that met in the regular season, and it was St. Francis with a 12-point upset victory at the time. I think in this one, this could go either way, but I have to give the edge to St. Francis here. St. Francis wins by at least 6 points or more, defeating Indiana Tech and moving on to the second round. Rio Grande versus Stillman out of Alabama. Stillman out of Alabama won the regular season. Rio, on average this year, has been averaging about 90 points per game. They're led by Kaylee Darnell, one of their key senior forwards. No reason why Rio slows down. They beat Shawnee State for their conference tournament by 9. Rio Grande gets the win here and advances to play St. Francis in the second round. 2 teams out of Tennessee, Freed Hardman and Johnson. No doubt here. Freed Hardman with the easy win here. And between Florida Memorial and IU Northwest, these are 2 really good teams. But I have to give the edge here to Florida Memorial, as they will advance to play Freed Hardman in the second round. So which one of these 2 teams advances to the Sweet 16 round in Sioux City? Well, let's talk about that here very quickly. And let's see, this is up to 9 minutes, so boy, there's a lot of information here, I can tell you that. So I think I'm going to record a 3rd video right after I predict which of these teams are going to advance to the Sweet 16 in Sioux City. And then on this side of the bracket, I think I'm going to record a 3rd video as well, previewing which one of all of these teams advances to go into a national tournament. We have the Elite Eight set on the other side of the bracket. So in my next video, I'm going to get all these teams from the Sweet 16 all the way to the national championship game. So we're going to get this done. It's going to be 3 videos, so bear with me here. At least 3 videos, so bear with me. So in the second round matchups, who advances between Campbellsville and Williams Baptist? Again, this one could go either way. Now, Campbellsville, you know, they got upset in their conference tournament, so it's possible that Williams Baptist could upset Campbellsville in the second round. But in my personal opinion, I really think that Campbellsville is going to defeat Williams Baptist in the second round. Campbellsville advances to the Sweet 16 in Sioux City, Iowa. Between Dakota State and Governor State, these are 2 really, really tough teams. Governor State won their conference tournament and the regular season, I might add, as a 1 seed in that tournament. So for Governor State, now Dakota State, they're out of a North Star. They're super, super tough. They upset Indiana Wesleyan in the Sweet 16 round the last 2 seasons. This one is just such a tough matchup. But if I have to give the nod, I have Governor State out of Illinois mildly upsetting Dakota State in the second round, and Governor State advancing to play Campbellsville in the Sweet 16 round. Between Briarcliff and Columbia out of Missouri, again, these are 2 really, really good teams. Briarcliff ranked inside the top 8, but Columbia out of Missouri receiving votes. Columbia out of Missouri coming in, only lost 3 games all year, but Briarcliff is going to be too good for Columbia, and Briarcliff will advance out to Sioux City, Iowa in the Sweet 16 round. But now, who will join them between Mid-America Nazarene and Northwestern out of Iowa? Again, this one could go either way. Northwestern, they're a team that can put up a lot of points in a hurry, but on a bad shooting day, they can also only score 50 or 55 points, and that's obviously not going to do it against Mid-America Nazarene out of Kansas. I have Mid-America Nazarene defeating Northwestern in the second round and matching up against Briarcliff in the Sweet 16 round out in Sioux City. On the lower side of the bracket, who advances between IWU and Olivet Nazarene? This one could go either way. Olivet, I know their record doesn't indicate it, but they're a team with a lot of size. They like to press. They also like to run. Very similar to what we've seen all season long with the IWU offense as well as defense. But I have Indiana Wesleyan only beating Olivet by 5 points or less on Saturday in the second round. IWU advances to the Sweet 16 for the 8th straight year, which have all occurred under the current head coach tenure of Coach Whaley. Now, between Georgetown and Providence, which one of those 2 teams advances to a Sweet 16? Georgetown and Providence, 2 very, very good teams. I have to give the nod I got to give the slight nod to Georgetown here. I think Georgetown will beat Providence in the second round, albeit by 5 points or less. That meaning Georgetown will advance out to Sioux City, Iowa, and match up with IWU in the Sweet 16. Now, between St. Francis and Rio Grande, who advances out to Sioux City, Iowa? In my personal opinion, St. Francis and Rio, 2 very good teams. Now, Rio's a team they like to run and gun on offense. I have Rio with the upset over St. Francis in the second round, and Rio advancing on to Sioux City, Iowa. Between Freed-Hardeman and Florida Memorial, this is a no-brainer here. Freed-Hardeman, they're ranked inside the top. I know they're ranked inside the top 15. No, Florida Memorial is not going to overwhelm them in the second round. Freed-Hardeman matches up with Rio Grande out in Sioux City, Iowa in the Sweet 16 round, and IWU and Georgetown matching up together in the Sweet 16. Mid-America Nazarene out of Kansas and Briarcliff playing each other in the Sweet 16 round. And Governor State and Campbellsville will match up in the Sweet 16 round. So when we come back in just a minute, I'm going to record another video and we are going to talk about this side of the bracket, who's going to win all of these games in the Sweet 16 round and advance to the national championship game that is coming our way here in just a second. So if you did enjoy this video and it was super helpful to you, again, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. Thanks so much for watching. God bless.